Hi everyone, my name is Tyler Gaudette, and this is my Actions Speak Louder assignment for Experience Nichols 1. So we're going to talk about my nonverbal strengths and opportunities, and we will also do a goal that I have set and an action plan to reach that goal. So the first thing that we're going to talk about relating back to a TED Talk video was that tiny tweaks make big changes. And I 150% believe in that saying. It was not the first time I ever heard that saying in that video or something relatively similar to that saying. I feel like a big part of my life has always been that I can make tiny little tweaks to little things, and it leads to me making big changes in my life. So, for example, me making tiny little tweaks to my daily routine changes the way that my morning plays out, or the rest of my day plays out, or the rest of my week, or month, or year, or just getting into a routine, for example. That was one thing that I took away from the video, and starting to think about that in the nonverbal communication kind of way of thinking, I thought of a couple things I would like to talk about. So some of my strengths would definitely be like relating back to the MBTI test that we took, like the introvert extrovert kind of thing with nonverbal communication. The MBTI says I'm an introvert, so but I'm going by extrovert because I feel like I am way more extrovert than I am introvert. So the one thing I want to talk about with that is that the nonverbal communication that I possess is different depending on the situation. Like whether I'm at home or at work, I feel like my nonverbal communication is definitely different in good ways, many good ways. Like when I'm sitting at the office. Um, I feel like I have more like in a power pose, um, more ready to go on my day. My communication and just my eye contact with my fellow coworkers and everything is a lot stronger. Whereas when I'm at home, I'm like more like slouched back. I'm more laid back. If people are talking to me, I might not make as much eye contact because I'm more comfortable with them and more familiar with them around them than I am at a new place where I'm working now. So that's one strength I have with my MBTI. Um, Eye contact is another nonverbal communication thing that I use a lot. I feel like my eye contact has been pretty good for most of my life. I learned at a very young age. Growing up, I even still to now, I see a therapist just to talk and just kind of have someone to talk to all the time, like once a month. But early on in my life, when I first met him, he talked about eye contact and how that was big, and how using that and always making eye contact with people, it was just like big for nonverbal communication. It makes them um, feel like that you are engaged in the conversation. So I feel like that is one of my big strengths. Um, I'm very cautious when I use hand gestures. So as you can see, I'm trying not to use many right now, because I never know what people might think of a certain hand gesture. It might be inappropriate to them. It might not be something that's part of their culture. It's something I learned about undergrad was like hand gestures in different countries mean different things. You don't want to threaten someone by accident by not knowing what the hand gesture is. So I feel like when I use nonverbal communication, I try not to use hand gestures as much as possible. So we're going to talk about my goal now. Sorry, I just got to change my notes here. We're going to talk about my goal. So my three-state plan is to basically to improve my body language and my nonverbal communication and my confidence as a whole at work. So I figured I'd do it over the course of a couple weeks at work. So the first week, I'll try not to slouch in my chair when I'm in my office, or I'll try to stay upright, and I feel like that'll help me get more work done. I'll stay more focused. I won't be so distracted about looking at my phone because I feel like I'm upright. I'm I'm looking at my computer. I'm ready to go. Someone comes in. I'm able to turn right then and there and make good eye contact with them. So I feel like that's something I should work on in my first week. My second week would be to make pretty much better eye contact with people and learn how to use certain hand gestures, because I know hand gestures are a huge nonverbal communication way of communicating with people. And then third week, we'll just put it all together and we'll try to better my body language as a whole. It'll make me more confident with my coworkers and my boss, and being able to communicate with them, not verbally and non-verbally at the same time. So that was my three-step action plan. I'm going to try to do that over 3 weeks at work, try to see how it goes, stop from slouching all the time, stay up in the chair. I feel like learning that from the video, the power pose of making the V and stuff like that, like the pride gesture, but like even just like staying upright instead of slouched. I feel like that'll definitely help me with my approach to work and my nonverbal communication as well. I just want to thank you for taking your time to watch this video, and I'll see you next time.